Welcome back to Dreadnought, the tactical action game that lets you pilot massive capital ships in an all-out battle for victory. The publishers, Greybox, have sponsored this video, and it follows on from my introduction to the game that I posted last week. If you missed that video, check it out linked in the description. This video, however, we're going to be running down the classes of ship available in Dreadnought, what their purposes are, and how best to use them. Now, if you like the look of Dreadnought, you can sign up for access to the beta on PC right now, or you can register your interest on PS4 for a chance to get into the closed beta there. Both links to that are at the top of the description. So then, let's get into it. The classes in Dreadnought. At its core, this game is all about the chemistry between different ship classes, of which there are 5 in total. As a pilot of any of these 5 classes, you need to understand the strengths and weaknesses of each ship that you can take control of, what weapons it has, what abilities it has, and what role in the team's lineup that you need to be focusing on throughout multiplayer battles. Now, although the game allows you to progress in any way that you choose, playing and unlocking ships as you like, it may not be wise to simply focus all of your energy onto just one of the ship classes, and instead, maybe spread your wings a little bit, getting some playtime in with all the different classes. You might find yourself in a situation where the class that you love to play just isn't needed in this battle, and having the skills to bring out another class and use it against the enemy in the right way might just be the difference between a win or a loss for your team. So the 5 classes you can choose from are as follows. We have artillery cruisers, tactical cruisers, the corvettes, the destroyers, and of course, the massive dreadnoughts. As I mentioned, all of these fit into a jigsaw puzzle, and they can assist each other in lots of different ways. However, we're going to start with the artillery cruisers. This class of ship is one that will work best for a player who's looking to be the information mine of the entire team. Operating at longer ranges with their deadly cannons, they can deliver extreme doses of damage against enemy ships without needing to get stuck in the middle of a firefight. You can basically think of these guys as the snipers of Dreadnought. The artillery cruisers can move fast and they can deal a lot of damage, but they come with almost no armor protection whatsoever. So staying out of the way of incoming fire is extremely important if you want to stay alive for any length of time. Like a sniper, use cover to conceal your location, then pop out at the right moment and deliver the powerful round to finish off your enemy. You're extremely vulnerable, and being quick to spot enemy movements that might threaten you is part and parcel of playing this class. The corvettes on the enemy team are likely to target you as they're smaller and even faster than you are. Keep your main cannon armed and ready, and just a few shots should bring them down. Too slow, however, and you're history. You have flechette missiles, which can lock onto nearby enemy ships. That will deal a little bit of damage and potentially make them move off a little bit, but if you're using them, you're not likely to have been paying enough attention. The siege mode module as well makes for an amazing finishing move. A slower moving particle cannon, but it has an area of effect damage on it, which can hit enemy ships close by to one you're aiming at. It's a bit like a frag grenade thrown into a small room. You're going to do plenty of damage. The second ship class that you play as are the tactical cruisers, and if you're a player that likes to get a kick out of helping literally everyone that you're playing with, then this is the class for you. The tactical cruiser is one of the most vital cogs in the machine, because it's the class with the unique ability to heal other ships. You are the support player. Your primary role is to dish out the repairs and keep the rest of your team's health up while they do the heavy damage against the enemy. The tactical cruisers have a healing beam that you can focus on damaged ships to help them continue on in a fight, and if they're in a 1v1 battle against another ship, your healing might keep them stable whilst the enemy ends up getting picked off. You also have access to an area of effect healing pod which you can drop down for your team. Say there's a cluster of friendly ships in a certain area, maybe you're all taking cover behind a large rock in space. All of the ships within its radius will then heal up bit by bit, And you also have auto beam turrets, which you can activate if there are nearby a couple of damaged enemies. That way you don't have to directly focus on them, and you're sort of passively healing them. This frees up your primary beam, and then you could focus that on a further out teammate that those autocannons aren't going to reach, or you can tie it in with the beam amplifier, and you'll do some great damage against the enemy. You're not just healing people, you can use that beam on enemy ships to deal damage as well. Because you are the sole class on the battlefield that has the ability to heal people, you're going to want to use that repair beam as much as you can. Stick close to some of the larger targets on your team, like the destroyers and the dreadnoughts. These ships will take the brunt of the impact, and then you can support from close by. Be fully aware, however, of the power you possess, because the enemy team are going to want to blow you up before all others. If they can knock out the team's healer, that leaves the rest of your team extremely vulnerable. And a cool little meta game, 2 healers on the same team can fly around together, dealing damage to enemies and then healing each other with their beams. That makes an extremely difficult target to take down. The third class of 5 is the Corvette class, and these are the fastest moving ships in the game, although they're far smaller than some of the others that you'll get to pilot. Now, these ships are designed with a hit-and-run mindset. You can swoop in with dual autocannons on the front, and then zip right back out of danger again with one of your speed abilities. Corvettes can dart all over the battlefield, helping to bring down ships and assisting teammates in a fight that they might be struggling with. They become an annoyance to the bigger ships. It's like trying to swat a fly away from you. What they lack in true firepower, they more than make up for in maneuverability and speed. You can use the speed abilities such as the Afterburner to make quick movements around enemies, or even activate your thrust amplifier module to give you a proper max speed boost for a small duration of time. These are perfect for setting up a strafing run. With the Corvette only having limited damage potential, however, and virtually no armor in comparison to some of the bigger ship classes, it's really better to focus on the smaller ships on the enemy team. So go after those artillery cruisers, the tactical cruisers, and even other Corvettes. That's not to say that you can't go after destroyers and dreadnoughts, but maybe only swoop in when they're really on their last breath and you can finish them off. One thing you should remember about the Corvettes, however, those front autocannons only fire in the direction that you're facing. Strafing runs really are your best friend. The fourth class out of 5 is the Destroyer, and if I could sum it up in one statement, I'd call this the Jack-of-all-trades class. It's adaptable and it's flexible when it comes to battling enemy ships, because it's basically the middle ground of all of the classes on offer. It's got plenty of armor for soaking up heavy damage from dreadnoughts and artillery cruisers. It's got decent speed so that you can, with a bit of skill, get yourself out of trouble with a Corvette flyby. And of course, it's got extensive damage potential with its array of weapons. Tempest missiles and torpedoes, they can lock onto nearby targets, and then you've got autoguns which can be activated to deal damage to enemies that are close by. It all adds up to this constant stream of pain for the enemy team. You're almost always on the offensive with the Destroyer, as you've got the speed to get out of trouble if you need to, and you can make some riskier moves. But the party piece, once you unlock a ship that has the ability, is the Plasma Ram. Move into position behind another unsuspecting Destroyer, or even a badly damaged Dreadnought, activate the Plasma Ram and just end their existence. Trust me, once you've done this once, you're going to want to do it every single time. The Destroyers are extremely powerful, and I'd say it's a good introductory class for brand new players because it's got just enough ability in every department to stand a good chance in any firefight that you might find yourself in. And lastly, of course, we have the gigantic Dreadnoughts. And just from their sheer size, I think you can guess what these guys are good for. They're extremely slow in comparison to other ships, but they're armoured up to the teeth, and they take the brunt of the enemy's firepower. You can provide solid cover for smaller ships due to your sheer size, and have devastating abilities that can finish off any ship should they be lined up right. However, you're slow, cumbersome, and you're extremely vulnerable when you're not positioned properly. so make sure you're paying attention to your immediate surroundings and use cover whenever you can to stay out of the line of fire of artillery cruisers. Those snipers will pick you off very quickly. A few hits, and despite you being the tank of the battle, you will come crashing down. You can use your warp drive to close the gap between you and your enemy, reposition, and then fire off your plasma broadside, dealing huge damage to whoever was unlucky enough to be in the way of it. It'd also be wise to enlist the help of a tactical cruiser who can keep you healed up during the battle. You might be taking the brunt of the enemy firepower, but you're going to need help maintaining that cover. So that's your breakdown of the 5 classes in Dreadnought. Now, each of the ships that you play as have their own tech trees. You can explore boosting weapons, boosting your defenses, and even more. So these guidelines will help you get into battle, but it's you who needs to gain the experience and build up your own fleet of ships that you know inside and out. Like I said at the beginning, there might be a point within the multiplayer game where you don't need to play as your favourite class, so having knowledge of every single class that you can play as is extremely important. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to give Dreadnought a go, head down into the description and click the link for either PC or PS4 and get yourself into the fight. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.